Oh man, Robinhood. I just don't like them. I used to have an
Right?
account with them, but I'm not anymore. Oh, but yeah.
Robinhood, Nvidia's doing good. Tesla's selling off. Still, still down. Tesla.
Oh shit, I haven't looked at Tesla. Oh,
Crazy, crazy.
yeah.
So we can check out Bitcoin this morning, going in on the short-term time frames. I mean, insane in the membrane, really. Uh, for for Bitcoin, look at this thing. Okay, insane. Maybe bull flag trying to pop off right here. We'll see. Something like this. We'll see. Up to I'd like to see it go to 89,000 here. We'll see if we get there. But pretty wild. Okay, so really just like starting the day as normal here. And Captain Obvious would say that, we're looking for a retracement and a bounce, right? So we got liquidity in the lows here. We've got a push down already, right? So we're looking for price to typically come into this zone for some sort of bounce. Either it's going to come for the lows or it's going to come into like a Fibonacci level in here, right? So that's kind of what I was looking for this morning. Uh, and clearly it came for all of it and then some, right? So I know some people on my live stream got long like right off the bottom. Absolute degenerates. I love it. Uh, not me, man. Not me. So when we zoom in, we understand where we're at, right? And this is like they're not going to let people who get long here kind of stay in their position. That's the way I see it, right? Like if you get long yesterday, this is almost too easy, right? You get long here, you think you're going back all the way to the moon, right? They're not going to make it that easy. Let's just keep it that simple, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. Just it's not going to be that easy, right? So what are we looking for now? We're looking for this thing V-shaped recovery continuation, right? But this is grabbing a lot of liquidity at the lows, right? So really knocking everybody out of their positions really quickly here, and then looking for that kind of push back. So as we proceed in here, we look at this. This is still coming back down, probably coming back down, and probably in here somewhere, looking for that real push. We'll see what goes on. 1 second, looking for a trade here. 1 second. Okay, so this morning I got long here because we're coming into the golden pocket area, looking for this continuation in here. Um, is your internet weird today or your exchange? My exchange is really fucked up today, man. Like really fucked up. It's not working well. Um,
Really?
anyways, yeah, it's really messed up. Like I've lost money today because of it. Mexi, I've actually complained to them today. Uh,
I see.
like it's stuck, man. It's stuck. Like my position and everything right now, it's stuck. My stop loss has been hit, right? Look, it's stuck. I don't
Holy
it
shit.
won't move. So it's like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Uh anyways, I'll I'll have to ask customer support. What's going on? That's a pain in my ass anyways. But yeah, looking for the golden pocket bounce in here, impulse move. So I was going from here. I got long this morning and looking for the bounce in here. I got long. I could have taken like $50, $60 profits. I got stopped out. Okay. So I got stopped out for 300 and then it continued to roll over. And then I got short right here and I made 700. Okay. So very aggressive, not easy to trade. Okay. Not easy at all. But for me, it's like in something like this, you typically don't want to, you don't want to be caught with your pants down. Right. So whenever you're getting liquidity grabs and sweeps all around, right? You can see this, you can see that, right? It's not making it easy for traders, right? So This is a 786, I'm pretty sure. Rejection right now. Go from swing high to swing low. 786 to the tits. Okay, perfect rejection. Coming down right now. Now that we have the top, we can look for the bounce down in here. So we're looking for a potential 382 and continuation. We're probably past that. So we're looking in here now for a potential bounce, but very choppy. Okay, very, very choppy. So proceed with caution and make sure your exchange is working properly, because mine is not. And I literally lost because it didn't register my stop loss, lost like $2,000 today. So I was up 500 and now I'm down 2,000, right? So it's I'm pretty pissed off, to say the least. And my
Holy shit! I
it's
would
still
have
stuck
also.
on it, man.
Yeah.
It's still stuck on it. Look, I can't. It won't move. It won't move, man. It's still stuck. So I'm gonna have to file some sort of complaint. I have a Mexi rep, so I'm gonna have to talk to them. And yeah, a little bit frustrated because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure that out right now, and go from there. We'll see what happens. And
Nice.
that's enough out of me for now. Let me see if I can get a hold of this guy. What are you looking at, OC?
Oh, I'm looking at leaderboards. Give me 1 second. I'll be right there with you. Just finishing a couple of things that Alex asked me to do right now. Here it is. And we're done. All right. Going back to the class, let me share what I'm doing right now and how we're playing out with my prediction on the price action, right? Remember that predictions are a little bit up to whatever the market is going to be doing, if that makes sense. Let me show you here. We were expecting a little drop pullback, right? So that pullback basically played out. We've been talking about that pullback for a long time. And remember that this pullback is not that I just pulled it out of my sleeve, right? This was the same pattern that we have right there. So what I did is just basically moved it out of the way into where I was expecting it to break. In fact, when we were talking about it, we were somewhere around here, and we were talking about two possible scenarios. Scenario number one, or scenario A, basically breaking through, retest, and off we go, unless we bounce from this area, right, and we start falling below our area of support. What ended up happening, it was exactly what we were expecting, just a little bit afterwards, so after the movement, or after the fake out here, and then dropping almost exactly where we were expecting. There's a little caveat here. When we start jumping up in here and bouncing from this support, I said, and I changed this in another version, what I told you guys, well, maybe if Bitcoin is willing to stop at previous areas right here, we might be seeing that same pattern, but right here in a short matter of time. So what happens is that as we came here and I have a bullish candle, I long this and move my stop to entry. Then what happens, stopped me out at a loss in here. And what happens then, it is that it end up going all the way down. Let me show you back at where we were talking about, all the way down here. I bought it here at this area. I sent it to my holdings, and what's happening, went back to the area where we were at. We need to be a little bit careful right now because, yes, the pattern or the candle that I'm seeing at this point, let me show it to you. Like, let me remove everything. It is a bullish candle, but I mean, the volume or the oscillator is just flipping down in here. So I need to be a little bit careful right there. Well, sorry, 1 second here. So basically, we need to be aware that we could keep rolling over, or at least make it a little bit of a pattern. I'm not going to be trading this anymore because basically right here, this is what I logged it again. A small long on my next on my same entry right here, and then taking profits as soon as possible. I did take. I'm not gonna be lying to you guys. Something like $50 out of the trade. Not much. My position was pretty small at this area still. A win for compensating this loss right down here, up here, sorry, but I'm still waiting for whatever pattern we're gonna be seeing. If we start losing this area right here, and what do I mean with losing? It is a big body candle going through, right? Big body candle closing, and then the next one is gonna be a retest, keep going downwards. So what could I be just expecting for the macro charts to start playing out this point? It will be, let me show it to you in another cleaner chart, and something like a let me just get rid of this, something like a trend line, something like a little ranging here like we were talking about yesterday, and we already have broken this previous trend line, but the rollover on that trend line is very, very steep. So it's not gonna be like, or it's not at this point where I'm gonna be, you know what, I'm gonna get back on my full position entry. In fact, we're losing everything that we gained today. But as long as we do not fall below the 85, 84-ish area, well, then I think we're going to be fine. In my next area of no return, it is the 82. Let me show you. Here we go. 82, 300 ish zone. Why? Because that means that most likely we are going to be losing this bottom right here. What's going to happen if we lose that bottom? Most likely we're going to be creating a big body candle, all right, going all the way down here. And the next will be a breakout retest all the way up there. So yeah, that is basically what I'm looking at for the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour, we don't have an entry yet unless it is for DCA. And here it goes with the DCA. I see we got tagged on a question here. Alex OC. I had a winning day trade this morning. Nice. Over 400 in 21 minutes. That is amazing. Love it. But the stress, adrenaline, and anxiety was unbearable. Do you gentlemen have any advice on staying calm before, during, and after? Thank you so much, and advice from anyone. I do. It's basically there's two things that we need to talk about this on the psychology. First is have a plan before the fact, right? Remember how we've been talking about this movement in here, right? And how we copy this all the way down there, right? So what we did previously helps me stay calm. I'm a very emotional trader. When I start closing trades, I do get the adrenaline and I start going crazy of joy, right? The same thing when it's dropping in here, I'm containing myself, but you'll see me sometimes just kind of like going a little bit crazy here in the live stream as we go back down because, you know, the heart's pumping, adrenaline is pumping. So for me, I understand that I'm a very sentimental trader and I might not be able to suppress it as much as I would love to. Therefore, I do my due diligence before. Remember how much or how long before I was looking for this drop, all right? In case it happened, that gives me a plan to rely on my worst case scenario. So by planning for my worst case scenario, I'm basically covering that part of the emotion, right? Then entering all the way down here, right? And the rush of winning, well then, that's why we have a couple of rules in place. Remember, first rule, enter at very big support, crazy support with the flip of the ribbon, right? And then take early profits. That part, taking early profits, will also regulate, or for me, regulates the euphoria of winning, right? Basically taking or closing a bit of that position makes me feel that I'm grabbing some money from for me, and that's exactly what I'm doing, right? And then I have nothing to lose. So when you have nothing to lose and you already have covered at least your basic trading input, well then everything else becomes or stays within a limbo. So I know the next part it is, well, if I let it run, I could make much more money, right? But then if it turns back around, that's when I'm not gonna be making as much money as if I would be taking my whole profit at that point. So how do you handle that? For me, I have not yet discovered a way to actually be satisfied with my decision. So I just go for the numbers. So what does the numbers tells me? It is grab as much as you can on the first take profits, right? With for me, the equilibrium is 50% out, and then trail the rest, right? So aim for the next most possible scenario, and then you're just out for the day, right? Just consider that you already have grabbed your paycheck, right? And everything else will be a seeding for the next growing movement, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is basically how I handle stress and euphoria for this. And one more last thing before I throw it back to you, Alex. It is that I remember what we did before the drop, right? We were trading altcoins and very small movements we were just pulling out, right? Taking profits out of the altcoins and then saving them so we have enough money at this point to inject to Bitcoin. Remember that? So is have a plan and execute the plan. If the plan plays out, great. If not, well then that's why we have a stop loss, right? So other than that, let me throw it back to you, Alex, because I'm also very intrigued on how you handle emotions in trading situations.
I talked to customer support right now.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead. What are they telling you, man?
I'm trying to. I'm just telling them the situation.
I see, I see. I take over. Don't worry. You concentrate on
you.
that. That's important, my friend. Thank you. Credit for my soul says, thank you for helping me. I appreciate it very much. My pleasure, Creative. Also, if you have any other question, if you want me to elaborate a little bit more, if you maybe have a pinpoint question, I'll be more than happy to answer it. As you become more comfortable with your TA, that will ease. Yes, that is also very, very important and very, very true. Stay within your strategy and trading rules, take profits, and remember to move stop loss. Nothing like the feeling of letting a trade right after. Oh man, yes, you are completely right. Nothing like that feeling that you nail the bottom and you let it right to your profits. Eventually, and this is what I did not kind of like I got at the beginning, right? I was kind of like a blinded for all of the YouTubers when I started trading. That everybody was, yeah, we did 1,000 here, 1,000% there. We were at 100x, right, and so on and so forth. And they showed the very bottom and the very top of it, right? But when you start kind of like maturing in your style and also looking at other traders that they don't actually, I don't know, they don't sell smoke, you'll see how they take losses and how they, most importantly, leave a little bit of that profit on great entries for the long run. And then sometimes, and let me tell you that there's a trader that I learned a lot from, which I don't know if I should be disclosing his name. He's also, it's not an influencer, but it has its channel and stuff. Well, whatever. It's Conduit Crypto, if you guys know him. Conduit Crypto used to be giving signals in the channel before Chartprime existed, and I learned a lot from him. Something that I learned from him was when he caught a fantastic entry, he took up to 70%. What was it? Sorry, 70% gains or profits. That was the name. And then leave the rest just for almost the whole bull cycle. So basically, he get to a point where his stop loss is just almost unreachable. And regardless, whenever he decided to take some profits, he was taking, I mean, huge amounts of money out of whatever he had left, right? So that is another trick that you might be able or you might be willing to do. But let me show my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. It's not that for every trade you're gonna be doing that. Let's go to something, I don't know, let's just whatever, Dutch, here we go. Just because that's the one that appeared here. Oh, and by the way, playing out as we were expecting. Look at that. Let's just say that, let's go for, all right, let's go for this dropping here, right? Let's just go for this drop, and also let me just clean this up. On the 4 hour, let's say that you see this coming back down, right? Little range. Oh, did not did the V-shaped recovery. Finally did the V-shaped recovery. That's giving you what? 70% chances of ranging, right? Because you already have the Wyckoff pattern playing out there, right? Coming down, range. Now the V-shaped recovery, or at least all the way here, you already have your V-shaped recovery. And the next high should not be higher than this previous range. So what are you doing? Maybe you're opening a long position in there, right? Maybe you open up a long position, set your stop loss somewhere around here, taking account this candle, or maybe taking account this candle, right? And then you aim for the very low here. What happens? It is that it goes up, you move, you take early profits, move your stop to entry. Oops, my baddie here. Move your stop to entry, and then stops you out. That's fine. You did not did a lifetime position. If that makes sense, right? So what's happening maybe on a previous trade, and I'm handpicking those because in the future nobody knows exactly what's going to be the bottom, right? I mean, I could be telling you that this could be, but maybe it's not. So I need to handpick it so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. There we go. If we keep doing this over and over and over, you're gonna have a trade here, right? Sorry, a trade here going up, stopped out, right? A trade here going up, right? Maybe stopped out, or there we go. And then maybe you did not got stopped out, and your stop loss at entry will basically guarantee you that movement. Or let's just say that you did got stopped out here, right? Well then, once again, breaking out, right? Stop to entry. And what happens? Taking profits. Maybe not there enough, or maybe did. And finally, you take that entry here, and finally doesn't go all the way back down here, stays above. You take your 50% out, you take your 70% out, right? And then you just let it run for whatever is left until you start losing your dynamic reactor. And I mean, even taking profits here, that's a pretty fantastic gain, right? From the worst case scenario, we're gonna be talking about. Where's my ruler here? Whatever. We're gonna be talking about, for my worst case scenario, even re-entry here, a 168% at no leverage. Usually this guy did something like 20x or something like that. So you'd be multiplying 100 by 20, right? So you'll see how that plays out, right? So you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And the feeling that you're going to get from this, oh man, that is pure dopamine, let me tell you. That is pure happiness.
Unlike me right now. Oh man.
What happened, brother? Did you got it
Oh,
solved?
they're saying wait. They're trying to solve it. 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do. All I know is that I am so religious about my stop loss, and now it's like $5,000 down the tube. It's not acceptable, man.
Welcome to the Swinger
It's not
Club.
cool, man.
Swing Trader
Right?
Club.
It's crazy. Like that's crazy for me. So I mean my stop, like I tried to flash close, like on Mexi, I tried to close it out like 6-7 times at $500 loss, $400 loss, $1,000 loss. Like I was like, just get out, right? It wouldn't close. Like I was hitting the flash close, the limit close, every kind of close. I was even throwing my close at it. You know what I mean? So insane. Like I was long from here, and I was just looking to take this back up to here for a scalp trade, man. You know me. I'm just trying to scalp this up. It came against me, and then trying to close it out, restarted my computer, trying to close it out, and then boom. And then my account's down $5,000, right? Liquidated. It's crazy. So I mean, hopefully they figure it out, because that's ridiculous. It wouldn't close. But but we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. I'll let you guys know. About getting excited. Do you have any advice for staying calm before or during or after? With getting emotional and trading. Well, the number one thing that can help you with not being emotional with trading is trading a plan, right? So if I'm getting long like I did this morning off of this is what I'm looking to take out of the market, right? So I get long here, right? And I get stopped out this morning, right? For a $300 loss. That's okay because I know what my risk to reward is, right? I'm taking a high probability setup. We got bullish divergence in here, right? Trying to come back up to in here. We have VWAP above us in here, right? So I'm just trying to get back up into VWAP here. It's a very easy trade setup from me, right? It's definitely that's gonna first and foremost gonna make sure that you don't get emotional while trading, right? Just like this trade setup that I just got doozied on right now, right? I was looking for a continuation back up into this high in here, right? And then obviously, you know the rest of the story. The short this morning here, this was a $700 short here that we took. I put a little bit more size looking for the continuation trade here. Very good for getting on trends and stuff like that. We had, you know, we retest an order block. That's a typical and a wick test. So I typically look for that for a continuation. So I was looking here. I got short and I took it out in here. So I put a little bit more size on this trade just to go for the home run kind of trade, just in case we wanted to roll over because I had key levels down below. But I did take profits early, and then it came back, and then I made 700 on that. Now, so that's always going to be, you know, when you're risking. Typically, emotions come in when you're risking too much money. Okay, so like either you're putting too much on your account, you're putting 50% of your account on, you're doing something degenerate that's making you emotional, right? Take a look at what you're doing. Are you risking 1%, 2% of your account per trade, right? Like this trade right here that I gave you at the start, right? Coming down golden pocket bounce level, right? You could take this trade confidently, right? But if you manage your risk, right? So that's going to be the first and foremost thing for managing your emotions. And then secondly, is like entering a position. So having that plan, entering a position. Let's say you got long here. You have to have clear invalidation. Okay, so when are you wrong, right? When am I wrong? For me, if I got long here, I'm wrong if we close above here. For me, when I got short this morning, I'm wrong if we close above this high here, right? It was a scalp down in here. So your intention with the trade is very important as well. That's going to actually help you a lot with, you know, for me, short-term time trading, I'm looking for like this move in here. I'm looking for this move in here. I'm looking for this move in here, right? And that's going to play a big role into how I feel, right? If my intentions are wrong, if I have to be right, you're not going to win at the game. You can't always win, but you can definitely mitigate your risks if you're trading on a 15-minute time frame and you were looking for like the SFP of the lows in here, right? And you're in a much different type of situation where you're trying to trade like a swing trade like this, right? It's a lot different, right? You got to be able to wait through the volatility. You've told yourself that I'm going to give this a certain amount of time to play out, and that's going to also add to that. Now, holding trades longer, or holding on to winning trades once they start going. For me, I like a basic trend line. So, like, let's say you get long anywhere in here, right? If you get long in here, you can say that if this trend line is broken, right? Oh, you can submit an application here, they said. What the heck? Anyways, I said for what? A refund? They're not giving me an answer. Hopefully, they give me a good answer. So, if you get long in here, like a basic trend line will tell you when to get out of this trade, right? So, if you go in here, you can say, if this trend line is broken, I am wrong. Right? And that will allow you to hold through all of this. Okay, so now I got to put a claim in. Okay. I got to fill out a claims report now, OC.
All right,
the
go ahead,
Mexi.
brother. I think that's important. I'll take over, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, so let's take a look at what Alex was saying. I think I can pick up on that idea. Take a look at basic trading, I would say. So I'm going to be explaining it my way, but I think it's going to be very similar of what we are expecting. You know what? Let's go even and do some magic here. Let me just do a random asset, whatever is in here. All right, Pepe, it seems, or yeah, OP. Yeah, OP, it seems to be good here. So, and let's try to apply the same thing, right? Not just to be always on Bitcoin and so on and so forth. So, remember that I always tell you guys, if you don't know TA, go learn first of all, trend theory, trend line theory, right? Support and resistance theory and volume theory. If this is too much for you, just do volume theory and support and resistance theory, all right? And then just learn that a higher high and higher low make a upper trend or a bullish trend. Lower low, lower high make a bearish trend, and sideways makes no trend, right? That's it. Why is that? Because when you start learning about support and resistance, you'll also learn that not all support and resistances are flat like this one, right? This is a clear resistance. But look at that. Bounce, 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 bounce. So if you apply the exact same theory on support and resistance, you'll understand that this is called also a support. But since it's tilted, it has a different name, which is a trend line. Very important. When I discovered this, it was just so obvious, right? And before I tell you guys, and many of you guys already know because you've been here in this class for a long time, but guys, let me know, and this is a question for you guys, pop quiz, exactly when a trend is over. How can you tell that the trend is over? Let me know. If you don't know the answer, go ahead and pay something there. Don't worry. I just want to hear your opinion, whatever you're thinking. That also helps me out to make the class a little bit more interesting. Dynamic reactor. That is an advanced answer, my friend. That is an advanced answer, but yes, that could also work. Yeah. Break of the trend. Exactly. So basically, Broracle nailed that, right? So paper is perfect. Testing indicators getting used and how it works. Yeah, absolutely. The trend actually loses or ends when the trend line, right? When the trend line is broken. That is why that tool is invented for, right? To predict where the trend ends. The trend doesn't end in here. Now that you're seeing it, of course that you say, well, this was the top of the trend. But it's not that the trend was over there, right? The trend was over as we lost the trend line, right? So, knowing this basically is telling you how to enter, when to enter, and so on and so forth. So, I do the exact same, but in an opposite way. Remember, try to think outside the box, all right? Let me see if I can redo or whatever. I just draw a new trend line here. Let's draw this trend line here. Perfect. Seems to be fantastic. All right. So how do I try to catch, because that might be one of the most requested questions, how do I catch the top, right? Well then, first of all, if you're trying to catch the top, it's not that you're doing it wrong. But if you're not already an experimented trader or experienced trader, well, it's not the right drawer that you should be looking at right now. At this point, because you don't know how to catch the tops, well, you should be looking on how not to lose money or how to catch the early trend shift, right? Remember, I always say it's not about the breakout, it's about your retest, and off we go. All right. So your entry was here. Yeah, did it take forever? Yes, it did. But you had a beautiful retest right here with a one single candle retest, right? Maybe your entry was all the way here, TP number 1 in there, and then wherever you have the next resistance, TP number 2, and then you just trail it, right? Eventually, it's gonna go back to your trailing point. It's gonna stop you out at profits, already having taken 2 times profits. And then when you have rejection, and rejection, well, then you start thinking on shorting again, right? So now, if we can calculate when the trend ends with a trend line, maybe, right, we can calculate or have some sort of calculation when the trend is starting to lose power, if we can describe it like that. So I'm going to right click in here, do a clone. There we go. And grab that clone and see if it matches up here. And it does, right? Look at that top, look at that top, look at that, well, fake out top, right? Look at that top. So what am I going to be looking for? Well, then I already have a trend that become a channel, right? So you see how one started becoming another one, and then from that channel, I'm missing something important in the channel. If I use a dedicated tool that TradingView gives me, where is it? I don't really remember where is it. It's down here. There we go. It is called the regression trend. And let's measure it from here to there. You'll see that we have three different things. Top line, bottom line, and median line, right? So why is that median line important? What is it on the tool? It is on the tool because the median, as its name implies, it's giving you the average weighted or the average weight of that channel, right? What we want to start looking at the median first, it is ranging or resistance. By the way, I don't really like the actual name of support and resistance because for me, everything is a resistance. Why? Because for the price to break a resistance has resistance, right? And for the price to break a support, it also encounters resistance to go through that support, right? But whatever, we'll just go with what we know, and it's calendar, right? So we already know that we also should be looking at a median. So let's just clone this tool in here, right? Let's drop it at the center. Usually it is at the center of the channel. There we go. And just for better understanding, let's just double click in here and let's make it, I don't know, less thick, and let's do a dash. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, it is acting as a resistance or as a support, so ranging zone, right? And then when we start seeing most of the price action being below it, right? Well, then we know that we could start losing the strength on that range, all right? But going back to the first trend line, to the secondary trend line here, which creates the channel, I'm going to be looking for a high, a pointy high that is not reaching the top, all right? That is above the median. So for example, look at this top, we reach target, right? Maybe here I start looking for, what's gonna be the next low? Am I gonna be able to break back above the median? Yes, if I did, well, look at that, I'm reaching the top. I still have the same strength. Going back down, look at that, not even just breaking, sorry, taking it, but also overshooting. Oh, nice. In this case, well, then back below. Oh, this is a warning, all right? Maybe are we losing a strength? Let's see how that plays out. So we go back down here, and the next one, it did play out. So we're gonna get to this last one, right? That we are not reaching the predicted price action zone, right? So as soon as we have this pointy top in here, what are we looking for? It is the median, right? Breakthrough going back down, and what we want to see, it's going to take the median, but we're piercing through. Oh, piercing through, losing the trend. I already have the previous high in here that it did not match. Most likely it's going to be short, right? What you do, you short the market at that trend line breakout, all right? So This is basically how you start looking at those points. Let me go for something more simple. Now that we know a little bit more in depth on support, resistance, trendline channels, median channels, and how to trade the channel, let's go and to do the easier the better, right? We see double top. Maybe we lost on the breakout retest, your entry, and off we go. That's fine. Don't worry. The market is not going anywhere. So when you see this further move, the next thing that you're looking for, it is a breakout structure or creating some structure, because in itself, this is a very dramatic trend, right? I know this might be not canon, right, or not being taught out there. This is part of what I believe and how I see stuff. This for me, it is a like overreaction. So for me, this is not structure. It is. But for me, I'm going to be counting at not structure. For me, structure will be something more like in here, something like what's happening here, so on and so forth. Let me explain. Why doesn't have structure? Because if I drew a trend line, what's going to be that trend line? Well, yeah, we had breakout, retest, and this is what we're expecting, right? Now we're starting to have structure. Why? Because we bounced, sweep of the lows, right? Break to the trend line, right? And then what happens going for the retest? Do not lose the retest, right? We're pushing through. Look at that. Now I start looking for what Little Fish was telling me. Oscillator, right? Volume on my oscillator, my entry, and I can long this. But more importantly, the conjunction on all of this together, it is creating Wyckoff. Let me show it to you. Oops, sorry for that blinding thing. Should always be on, there we go, on black. And coming down, little range, V-shaped recovery, 70% chances of ranging. And knowing this little image, we can short the top, long the bottom, short the top, long the bottom. Whenever we see overextension here and we got stopped out, we could be predicting a spring. Let's go take a look at what happened there on OP. What? Remember? Long the bottom, short the top, long the bottom, did not hit the top again. That's fine. Look at that over or reaction right here at the bottom, looking for that spring, breakout, and then, well, in this case, was a fake out. But we had the pattern right there, and trading the pattern for us was the most profitable part on that area, right? So once again, if we go to something like the 1 hour, we'll see the same thing going down, little range, V-shaped recovery, ranging, spring, breaking the range, breakout, retest, and off we go, and then you take your profits. So it repeats over and over and over. One last thing before I throw it back to you, Alex, it is that for me.
Yeah, I'm done applying. I had to apply for my money back now.
Oh man, that's not fun. Man, that pisses me off.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So let me show you that we are on 4 hours, all right? Let me show you also that this is the end of the chart, right? So usually the third charm, or I call for the third charm. The third one is the charm, sorry, right? So always the third one is the charm. So we're talking about Wyckoff. So look at that. Coming down, right? Your range, V-shaped recovery, ranging 1, all right? Then coming down, little range, V-shaped recovery, high, not high, the previous range, 2, right? I don't know. This is where things get blurry. The line gets blurry. Would you consider maybe this V-shaped recovery ranging and then losing it? If this is 1, and you consider this one to be the second one, this could be the third one and last one. Especially because how the oscillator, sorry, the dynamic reactor is coming in strong. So most likely we only need a little bit to break back above breakout retest, right? And now that we know this, let's go to something like Bitcoin. Let me show you that interesting match in there. Bitcoin, I think we're gonna be doing it on this one. Let's go to daily, and here it is. First one, second one, right? Third one, and the charm. On the 4 hours, I don't count this one here, but usually I see repetitive patterns within 3 before the bottom. And then the last one here, it doesn't break down, it breaks up, right? So just keep that in mind. Again, this is not for sure. This is just a coincidence so far that I have found in here. So be prepared and look, use your trend lines, guys. Use your trend lines and then add your indicators because that's gonna give you a greater chance of success. I promise you that. So, Alex, how that went, my friend?
Oh man. Well, I submitted it. I good thing I took a bunch of screenshots while it was happening. And I also I messaged my rep while it was happening, so hopefully that helps too, right? Cuz I'm even I'm like it won't let me close my trades. It won't let me close my trades. It won't let me close my trades. Like I sent them screenshots of this. I'm like, it won't let me close my trades. It won't let me put a stop. Network error over and over again. I've tried closing it 4 times. Network error, and it's all time stamped. Right? And I'm messaging my rep, so I can't do anything else really. But the thing is like I, as a YouTuber, I have an affiliate with them, so I have like over I think 50 people signed up through my link, from Maxi, and I will take all my money and I'll move it elsewhere. I got no time for that. So it's like if you don't want to honor, I mean, I couldn't do anything. I have multiple screenshots. I couldn't close my trade because like what happened is that I entered the trade, right? I put the stop loss below a low, and then I'll put the stop loss really low, and then I'll move it up into position, right? And then I'll put the TP really high, and then I'll move it into position on the screen. That's how I trade all the time, right? So as soon as I entered my trade, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't put the stop. I couldn't put, you know. So we'll see what they do. Very disappointed. Obviously, I'm gonna share it. Here you go. But that's it, right? And everybody here knows me, right? I'm stop loss, stop loss, stop loss, right? So that's crazy. And even like another trader, Trader Geo, he said everybody in his Discord says Mexi is buggy today, right? So if they want to have a good reputation of, then if they handle this correctly and they refund me I would say they have to give me $4,500 back because that would have been my stop loss. That I'm okay with that. But if they don't, I'm gone, right? So that's kind of how I see it, and we'll see how they behave in this situation, right? Because this was like network error, can't move. I restarted the browser, I moved the VPN, I restarted the computer, and I still couldn't close it.
Man,
So
that sucks.
Pretty frustrating, man. Right? So anyways,
I feel you, brother.
it's just another headache on it, right? It's another headache, and I can't stand shit like that. Trading is hard enough. I don't need my my exchange to be an absolute douche canoe. So what do we want to talk about? Top down analysis.
We have a question here from Melissa. She says, a question for you too. What platform would you recommend for Forex and gold futures in US? First of all, let me say this is not a recommendation. I'm still right now migrating to a localized Mexico's based trading zone, but I used to have Oanda. Well, I still have Oanda, and it used to have Robinhood, but that's what I used. It's not that I recommend them, but that's what I had available at my time.
I have not traded gold um or forex, so I wouldn't have. I know a couple friends use Top Step
Top step.
for
Got it.
futures. Top Step.
If
I
you're
think
just looking to,
that's where I would start in paper trade. I think that's where I would go, right? You could also, find some people who are trading on there, maybe live and go off of what they're doing.
absolutely. Something also that if you don't find anything that likes you or fits your need, check up what's Uphold. Uphold is not a trading platform, but lets you convert your US dollars to anything imaginable. They have okay rates, and that's what I used to use in the past before I got my hands on Oanda and on Robinhood. Hopefully we see that, Alex. Hopefully we see that, brother.
We got some legs. We got legs. We'll see.
Nice,
We'll
nice.
see. It's trying. Once you see the balloon dog, you can't see anything else. Tell me this isn't true. Tell
That's
me
true,
it is
brother.
true. You go everywhere. What is this?
Balloon dog. Holy
What
shit.
is this? No, that's a
Uh,
that's a crippled balloon dog. That's more of a shoe pattern.
yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, for me, target wise, where I'm looking for BTC, I'm still looking. I'm sorry to say, but I'm looking a little bit lower. I'm still looking around 83,300. Just an impulsive fib level that I am interested in, but we'll see how Bitcoin goes from here. It's gonna be it's it's not gonna be easy, right? Today, I can't. I should be, maybe down a couple $100 today after that loss here. Obviously, I'm down like 5,000 whatever, but crazy. Crazy. But for me they're not this what I was looking at here and what I want to see is the volume. Remember I was talking to you guys about volume yesterday as well, right? Like I want to see a volume uh s- that satisfies me for a push down, right? So you can see we're not even really there for today, right? We're maybe halfway there. So the volume you can see on these lows, right? These big bottoms here. You're coming up quite high here, right? Big recovery. This one here, quite high here, right? So you can see there, if we're comparing, right? We're not really, if we're comparing, we want to be kind of up here for our volume for that sweep, right? So could this just be one of these before we do, this and then go? Right? We had a little bit of that today, but I'm not really convinced. Nvidia earnings are going to be interesting today. We have now since this sweep, let's see, have we swept this low? No, not yet. So interesting, very interesting. So for me right now, the obvious target is this order block in here at 91.5, but literally like Bitcoin needs to get above 89,000. Like this is the first target for us to do, right? If this then that, right? So if we're going to sweep, I have, 83.3. This kind of starts to 82,000. That would be my sweet spot. But I also have a level just around 80,000 that I'm interested in as well. Okay. And then it gets really, really sketchy down in here. We have a CME gap. Where's that CME gap? All the way down at 73, is it? Yeah. Big CME gap down here. Okay. So these do have a high hit rate, these CME gaps. So we could just come down and visit this thing and then bounce, but I mean, yeah, 10% move for Bitcoin. That could be quite nasty, right? So and for the highs, yeah, coming up to above 89 and then reclaiming really 90, 91, 92, right? Where we see, we have that major level of resistance now. Now this is going to be major resistance for us to get back above and start trading above 92. So need to be level headed here. Need to not lose my crap on MEXC today and try to be patient and not get upset because it's pretty. We all go through times where we take bad losses. That's true. Sometimes we move stop losses. Sometimes you think you're gonna win or it's gonna bounce and you're praying for it to go back, but in situations like I'm in today, I mean, this is complete bullshit in my opinion, right? So you need to I need to just take it as it is, but hopefully they can do right by me with this crazy ass $5,000 loss that they gave me today. So we'll see how Mexi behaves. Um, I will shit all over their exchange if they don't do something about it though. Oh man. But yeah, for Bitcoin right now, you're in a range between 85 and 89, which is a big range. Okay, so your major support's at 86,000. If I'm going to, and we can trade this like a hot dog zone, right? Like that's it. Like if you're just gonna take some volume, let's go back to the Monday. We don't even have to go to the Monday, but we can go back in here, right? And understand that hey, we're stuck in the middle with you, 89 to 86, right? Looking for a bounce and continuation up here. We have a V-shaped recovery and then coming back down for everybody right now. So looking for a breakout retest really is something I would look for, something like this, and continuation out, tapping down below here. You could also wait for this to double bottom and bounce. Okay, so be aware of that. That's still another option in here. And looking to come for the liquidity in the highs, right? This is your target. I do have a key target above us here at 90,000. That would be interested in if we get up into here. We look for a possible rejection. But want to keep it safe, want to use good risk management, all that stuff, right? Especially here. You're going to get, I mean, this is a 3%, 4% down, 3% up, right? You're going to get the moves. So be patient, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, right? That's the thing. That's why I took should have been a $500 loss in here, right? But give yourself a little bit of wiggle room to see it play out, right? Because a lot of the time this is going to shake you out, right? This is a decent move here, almost a 1% move before the move, right? So you got to be able to, how OC always shows you guys how to measure the volatility and take an average of that volatility. So if you're moving 0.6 here, right? And you can take this average and you're moving a lot here, right? You're moving almost 1% there. And here you're moving 1% here, right? You should be taking this and adding that to it and then adjusting your leverage to accommodate the volatility, right? If you're looking at swing trade or whatever time frame you're trading, make sure that you guys are giving yourself enough room for the trade to actually play out, right? That's going to be critical in an environment like this as well, right? You don't have to be right all the time, but you do want your winning trades to work, right? And getting stopped out by a little thing like this or whatever is going to hurt your P&L because you're not going to be able to stay in the trade if this thing wiggles down a little bit extra and then bounces, right? So make sure you give yourself enough wiggle room with calculated risk, obviously, and hopefully that helps you guys too with trading.
Absolutely. And before we go, Alex, this one is for you, my friend. Not a sponsor. You guys see. Welcome to Shit Express, where you can send a piece of shit all around the world. You just need to.
I'm gonna find my Mexi affiliate. I'll get his address.
Oh man, choose an animal, give us an address, pick a sticker, and it's 100% anonymous. Even if you pay with credit card or PayPal. $16.95 if you want to give a shit.
I'm gonna send that right to my affiliate. Right to his. I'm gonna. I don't care. I'll send my own. I'll take a poop in a box and I'll send it to him.
Oh
It's
shit!
got to be worth $5,000, right? A $5,000 turd. I'll have some chili.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. It's not that I've never used this service before, and I don't recommend it, and I don't use it ever.
I'll
never,
get the whole
ever.
Otter gang. I'll get everybody in here to send poo. This guy's house will be brown by the time we're done with him.
Oh shit! They'll start commercializing poo under under the site. Oh man. Uh, Jeez, man, I just needed to, pass that over. But Alex, man, I feel you, brother. That's not fun at all. Hopefully they resolve you fast and like fairly. And other than that, I think we're running out of time. So, Alex, would you want to say the goodbyes and wrap it up?
Yeah, of course. You guys have a wonderful day. Please be safe out there. Okay. Don't use Mexi right now until we find out. and and always, always, always use a stop loss. Okay.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.